and some of you are having a nice evening. And how is your day? Thank you so much for coming to our channel. We are still growing, though we are growing very slowly. But sooner or later, we are going to get to 500 subscribers, and we hope also to get to 1,000 as well as watch hours. So guys, there is a lot that is happening out there. And of course, in ODM, it's not just a fracture that we saw, but there is a downfall of some of the loud, outspoken individuals. And I'm sure among them will be Junet, if I'm not wrong. And of course, Oburu is now retracing his feet after realizing that Sifuna and Babu indeed are important. You remember there is a time that Oburu came up with this funny video indicating how ODM is moving with pride as they continue to increase their numbers, and therefore exit of 1 or 2 people will not matter. However, currently it seems that they have to actually tone down because they have just realized that there is something else. Maybe indeed, as some individuals said, the spirit of Baba got up with Babu and Sifuna, and therefore many people are demanding for them even where their platform is not available. Can you imagine in one of the situations in HOMABAY where Gladys Wanga was speaking, or rather addressing the crowd, and the crowd kept calling on Babu even in his absence? Of course, currently Babu cannot walk close to Gladys Wanga, and that started long ago. I think even before the Raila Odinga died, we saw so many times where Gladys Wanga was trying so much to embrace Ruto. There is a time we even saw fish being fried and all that. And it's because of the aspect that many have speculated she will be the vice president running mate. And of course, that battle has led to a very, loud and somehow a nasty situation for the government. And that is why you can see a lot of people are shouting and saying that Kindiki's position has to be defended. Okay? So they are saying that they can only offer Nyanza a position after 5 more years. Okay? So that is the current situation. And of course, once ODM is divided, the winning goes to the UDA, because they get a free ticket, because obviously with the party that Sifuna is registering, there is a high possibility that we have a division of votes. And when you look at that, it will be an easy way for UDA, because automatically those who are with them will remain. Some ODM members will also be with them. Even some followers of ODM will be with them. Then now we'll have the united opposition. People will be battling whether to actually vote for united opposition or to vote for the new party that Sifuna has just registered. So you realize, I don't know, some people have come up to say that it's actually an initiative that was created by Ruto himself. All those propaganda come up, whether they are real or not. It is a situation that actually I see not as victorious as such, unless Sifuna now comes out to actually team up with the united opposition. The possibility of UDA winning in the morning, just as he said earlier, could be very high. So it's a critical moment, and we've seen the two parties now speaking. Of course, Kalonzo Musyoka asking Sifuna and Babu to join them, because they have read this. They already understand the situation. And now there is a propaganda that is still going on a lot, with the individuals insisting that Matiang'i is a project of Ruto. Who knows? But then you would wonder, is after the fallout in the previous process of, Uhuru supporting Raila, is it really possible that now maybe Ruto is joining hands with Uhuru Kenyatta in the fight for political space? Of course, Ida once reminded us that politicians are never permanent enemies. And I think that in quotes, maybe when we talk about being openly enemies. That's what they talk about, but they always say once an enemy, always an enemy. And that's why you have to be very careful with those who are once enemies, even in political corridors, I believe. Okay, so let's look at some of the events that have been happening. Let's look at HOMABAY and WANGA. I hope I'll get that video. It was today, right? So WANGA is addressing young people, but they're heckling. Let's just see. It must be 7 hours ago in HOMABAY. I'm looking at... so 7 hours ago.
We are here today to condemn in totality of what is happening in our party ODM. Yes. Our party ODM is a party that is found regionally. There you are. And everybody, everyone has a space in this party. Yes. And therefore, I want to urge our people to stand steadfast and to stand upright behind our party leader, Oburu Odinga, and the national chairperson, Her Excellency Gladys.
Yeah, so there are some people here who are backing up that process, and they spoke today. That is some few guys, but at the same time, we have those who are booing. So I'm looking for that video. So, of course, during political moments, what happens is there are groups which form, those who are revolting and those who are supporting, for relevance purposes sometimes. Some are as a result of a project. Melinda Kerubo, hello. Jonas, hello. Welcome to the channel. And thank you for showing up. So let's check on this video. I'm not sure with that aspect of the political temperatures. I think it's here. The unfortunate bit is that when you start, then the connection happens to be faulty. When the camera rolls again, you can see the charts. You just have to keep showing, and again, it affects on how to show the videos. But anyways, we have to just proceed whatever way it is. So, of course, let's see this.
The ground has shifted. This afternoon in Kisumu, Gladys Wanga stood at the top of a campaign vehicle, expecting applause. Instead, she was swallowed by boos. The chants were sharp, rhythmic, and forgiving. Babu, Babu, Babu. The name wasn't accidental, it was deliberate, it was political, it was a warning. In the heart of Luo Nyanza, the traditional stronghold of Orange Democratic Movement, the governor of HOMABAY County could barely speak over the roar of her own base rejecting her. Viral footage shows raised fists, agitated youth, traders craning their necks, and a governor visibly struggling to steady the movement. This wasn't just heckling, this was rebellion, and it didn't come from political enemies, it came from her own side. The symbolism of...
Okay, so looking at that, of course, and remembering what happened on from the previous week in Busia, and then all the way to Kitengela, and I think today there was some other gathering. So it's clear that there is something working against ODM, and they can't convince us that ODM is still full. Sifuna said once that he will not be the one to bring down the party, but all fingers pointed at him, of course, with the ousting proposition and then to registering his own party. That's a clear cut that something is happening. Whether it is sponsored or it is individually decided, this is a shocking humiliation that nobody expected. So ODM have always bragged about being strong regardless of the currents. And during interviews, Junet was called on JK Live. Sifuna was also called to Citizen, where she was interviewed by this lady, Okwaro. And we saw after that, we had other people were interviewed. They come, when they come about here, there are things they don't really put out clearly, including Winnie. Whenever they're asked about the factors, of course, Sifuna is the only person who said that the difference of ideologies happens to be there. And of course, he will not support anything to do with the two-term. But when it came to Junet, he said that the party will come to agree. And what people speak out is different from what they speak in the party. However, the procedure that followed was the ousting of Sifuna, which means clearly they knew he would not turn his mind. And of course, Babu, because he did not hold a very important position in the party, as insinuated by was it Mbadi, was interviewed another day. It's clear that they saw that once they push aside Sifuna, then their mission to actually get a free entrance into UDA and coalition with ODM will happen. However, now it seems there is something, either if not a project, then it is a clear division. That might not be really good news for Kenyans again, because when we have many candidates running for presidential position, then there are very high chances of the opposition losing as the government takes over. Anyways, what exactly is WANGA now receiving from the ground? The other moment, that was January early, you remember there was an incident in Kisumu where young people took to the streets because of Gladys Wanga, indicating that she was molesting some of the officials. Now, that cannot be a random action. And now this comes, and remember during the funeral, or rather the moment when they brought the body of Raila Odinga, there was another scene where young people forced their babu into the stadium. And looking at this, they really escorted him for all the way from Kondele to that stadium and made sure that he got in. Those are not just simple gestures. And of course, while other people have been speaking loudly and out of maybe malice and envious aspects, they have been saying Babu is pushing himself on citizens. To me, it doesn't look like that, because why would the ground just turn? And that is why when Babu stands, he says he doesn't stand for Nyanza. He's standing for Kenya. He has consistently insisted that way, and that is why he says he won Embakazi position not because he is from Kisumu, but because he's a Kenyan who is working for the Kenyan rights. And of course, you've seen him defending a lot of Kenyans during the hard moments of terrorism, where they have been labeled as terrorists and all that, something which is not easy. Now, Sifuna, on the other hand, stood out because of his controversial moment, and which seems to be really coping up with the young people. Now, one thing that I don't understand is also whether the young people have voting rights, because that is one blame that we have always got all the time. But anyways, let's follow with the Maisha TV and see what more they have before we can come to a conclusion of this, because we won't have a long video. I am trying as much as possible to have short videos which will attract as many people to watch, because some people don't want to watch very long videos. They tire them. So we can actually deal with one matter, but at least brief videos that will attract many of you. Otherwise, keep subscribing, like, and share the videos every day, every moment. We try so much to post for you, so that we can keep growing together. Let's see this.
When crowds chant the name of Babu Owino in Kisumu while heckling an ODM governor, they are sending a coded message. Babu has positioned himself as the unapologetic opposition purist, the man who refuses to soften his stance against the Kenya Kwanza administration. Whether you agree with his style or not, his brand is clear: resistance. Today, the brand overshadowed WANGA's microphone, and the symbolism could be sharper. The crowd was essentially saying, we prefer confrontation to cooperation. We prefer ideological clarity to political convenience. Let's strip this its core. President William Ruto has spent months crafting what he calls a broad-based government, a strategic inclusion of opposition figures to stabilize governance and neutralize dissent. On paper, it is statesmanship. On the ground, it looks like betrayal. Many ODM grassroots supporters feel that aligning with Ruto dilutes the party's opposition DNA. To them, ODM was built as a resistance movement, not a coalition partner, and when leaders appear too comfortably around State House corridors, suspicion grows. The Kisumu heckling was not about a speech, it was about proximity to power. February 15th at...
So it's quite a tragic moment as a politician when you stand on the podium and what you're saying really doesn't fit the situation of the citizens. As much as you're trying to be convenient and persuade them, they reject totally what you're saying and look away. They decide to give you chance and heckle you. They decide also to downgrade you and mention somebody who's not even present. Now, WANGA has something. Should she now turn into statements? Today, she actually posted a statement saying they must defend Sifuna. And I was surprised because I began to wonder why this turn of events. Now, let's get to see. Oburu is another one that has been talking about the fact that ODM is strong and they are moving forward. Of course, you remember the funny clip where he was saying, tunaendelea kwa maringo, na tutaendelea kuongeza party members. I've played that video for some time. Let's just check on this. I think it's here. Vile sisi tunaendelea. Okay, see this.
Na maringo tunaendelea mbele na nguvu, tunaendelea mbele tukiongeza members wetu wawe wengi, kwa sababu tukiwa wengi na tukikaa kwa meza na wengine tutaongea na nguvu, lakini tukiwa wachache tukikaa kwa meza kuongea na wengine tutakuwa wanyonge. Mnataka chama yetu iwe mnyonge? Basi kama hamtaki chama chetu iwe mnyonge, ninawaomba msajili watu wengi waingie kwa chama, wasiwe ni supporters peke yao, wasiwe wawe members wa party ambao wamejisajili.
That exactly was Oburu Odinga, and that's not the only statement. He's been actually giving a lot of memes. If you check online, you'll find a lot of political memes that clearly show a weakness in this kind of leader that ODM went for. And why did they do that? Of course, maybe they were influenced by UDA, and they knew very well that if they put their Babu or Sifuna, then he would have resurrected the party. So they have decided to wreck the party. And of course, now I don't understand when Oburu says that they are moving with pride and they are going to add numbers, when at the same time, people are now exiting. It doesn't add up, right? But anyway, apart from Oburu, there are people who are also, let's say, almost the age of, they are in their late, maybe early 60s, I believe. Not all of them, because Orengo has walked out of that team. And Onyang Nyong is not also with that team. But when you look at people like Mbadi, I don't know, is it because of the convention that he's part of this, Alai, and who else? Hey, why did I forget the other? Those people actually focus so much to remain in government or even quit, because you remember Mbadi came out and said, even if you don't elect him, so what? He's still going to survive. He has made enough money, you know. So now let's look at this specific. Now, I want you to look at these two different clips. There is a change of tongue here.
This talk of not supporting President William Ruto by SG of the party happened even when Raila was alive. Only that it was muted because Raila had a way of people actually, I don't know whether to say respected or feared him at the same time. So it was not as loud. The same with James Orengo. He spoke even when Raila was alive, that he didn't want to work with Ruto. We all know that. The same with Babu. They said they didn't want to work with Ruto. But what we are telling them is, can you come and tell us why you strongly feel that you want to go the other side? Because in Kenya, there are just two political groupings. Let's not lie to ourselves.
Now, looking at Mbadi, he is defending the government strongly. But at the same time, I want you to read the change of tone. Looking at this one is a bit resigned, because now when you say, let them come and tell us, because in Kenya we just have two ends, government and opposition. So he has now realized that, okay? Now let's look at a comparative kind of tone that he used earlier, patronizing kind of, and this is it.
Wengi tuone, aenda nao watu woke wengi, tuone tumebaki wachache wangapi.
And this is what he is saying now.
That's very funny, okay? So the same person has double speech, if I can say, because previously he was actually castigating and condoning individuals such as Babu and Sifuna, indicating that if they have masses, let them go and let's see. And I don't think they believed in the fact that wherever these people would go, they would be listened to. They thought it's just a nasty move that will not influence anything. But they realized that currently the social media is working day and night to comment on so much about Sifuna Babu. And the currents began from Busia, we've seen, to Nairobi. And there is a promise that they are coming to Kakamega. Is it over the weekend? Something like that. And of course, yesterday it was insinuated that the leaders of Kakamega were called to State House, maybe to stage on something that will cause fracas or tear gas. I don't know why the tear gas has become a common culture of Kenya, Kenyanization. We will be called Kenya tears or tear Kenyan, I don't know which one. So we hope that that rally will not be actually disturbed. But suddenly there is a lot of problems currently in ODM, okay? And now, of course, Babu has released some information about Sakaja, indicating that Sakaja has sold Nairobi to Ruto. How true is this? Is it out of what Ruto provided the money to Ruto? Let's listen.
And the governor has signed. Then one thing also comes which is very unconstitutional about the public participation. That they are saying they want to do it within a period of 14 days. We have 17 constituencies and 85 wards within Nairobi. Is it even practical? But going by the doctrine of legitimate expectation, the moment they sign it, then it means that they already know the outcome, there's already an expectation that it is going to be implemented, because the moment it is signed, now it should be implemented. So these are going to be just exercises in futility, PR exercise. Cabinet secretaries are in this. That tells you that there's a complete takeover. A complete takeover. When you have a company and you own 50% of the shares, you own 51% of the shares, and another person has 49, this company belongs to who? To the 51%, correct? And that is why we were fighting that Safaricom ought not to have been sold, should not be sold. Because we know that this Nairobi is going to run under the leadership of President Ruto. Now the next question is, what intention do they have with Nairobi? What is it that they want to do in 1 year that was never done in 4 years? What is it? What is it that they want to do in 1 year? So it means that these are just corruption scandals that's going to come up. There's going to be pilferage of money. And clearly, the governor is already satisfied. The governor is one of the billionaires now in this city. It is quite unfortunate that he's a governor and he has created a billionaire in himself instead of creating several millionaires within Nairobi County. Yes. Ndio.
Zaidi ya moja. Kwanza, rais anasisitiza kwa sasa anazungumza ya anasema kwamba hawajachukua kaunti kwamba wameshirikiana katika kufanikisha majukumu ya kaunti. Hili kwa mambo ya kukusanya hili, kuna hili swala la uwajibikaji. Iwapo serikali ya kitaifa inatoa shilingi bilioni 80 kwa serikali kwa kaunti ya Nairobi, je, vipi uwajibikaji utafanyika? Utafanya na bunge la kitaifa ama seneti ama itakuwa na kaunti?
It becomes a problem if I... Yes.
Unahisi kwamba gavana Sakaja amefeli katika kutia saini mkataba huu?
All right. So the national government cooperation deal is what Babu is talking about, and is indicating that it's a raw deal because it creates room for the president actually to dominate in Nairobi and take over. Okay. So I'm not so sure about what is happening over there, but remember the money that was given to Sakaja recently? It was a lot of money actually, and now we are seeing Babu Owino insinuating that there's going to be problems because as one person takes over as a billionaire, several people become poor, which is a reality in Kenya. And of course, it's not even Nairobi alone. We've seen all over Kenya, most leaders want to be so rich, to be seen with very posh vehicles and protection around them, while the rest of the people suffer. Now, we've even seen Babu is not the only person complaining about that under the national government cooperation deal. We are also seeing Sifuna saying the same. I'll come to dwell on that maybe tomorrow. As for now, let me come back to the aspect, the other channel, and talk about what is happening over there. Adios.